the power in my work is really the history in the work, the accumulation of the work. That's what's powerful. I mean, the pictures are sort of brothers and sisters to each other. So I'm very, very interested in the pagination and the storytelling, and it has a lot to do with what goes, what goes into the book.
The cover, which is Niagara Falls, is really the inspiration for the work. I was taking my kids on a trip to Niagara Falls.
They had not been there before?
No. I mean, they're young. They're young, and I was not in the best of moods, and they were skipping around, and I watched them, and they were looking over the falls. They were mesmerized in this spot, and I followed them over, stood behind them, and took a picture. And so they showed me that picture, and started thinking about places and people that meant something to me. And I made a big, long, crazy list.
All right. I'm not a very good studio photographer. I'm okay, but it's true. I realized when again, looking back at this early work, looking back at the work from 1970 to 1983, when I was just really observing and really looking, I've always tried to incorporate that storytelling into the portrait, and you can do it so much better if you're actually in a place where it means something. The Castro brothers, they're twins, of course, and their mother Rosie, and I did take them back to the house they grew up in, and they didn't live in it any longer. But this is their kitchen and the same that they grew up in, and I want to go back to their roots.
Adam has a wedding ring on, so it's creating an illicit subplot.
It was a gun trying to keep me. You go down, you go down.
Adam taught me to do that before scenes.
The Miley picture was a beautiful, strong, simple picture. I mean, we took all kinds of pictures that day, and it turned out to be one of the strongest pictures. It's actually sort of innocent on some level. She loved the pictures, and she loved taking that picture, and she was ready to take that picture, and it's just her audience wasn't ready for that picture, and the thing that it was just different. The picture, it was really different of her. Come back. Oh yeah, turn back a little bit this way. Great. That's number one, and number two is the same one because the wind's pushing that back. And number three, they come in tighter. They fold in. That's great. Okay, now, Amanda, go off the boardwalk.
Few royal outfits could be more complicated or cumbersome.
Your Majesty. Hello. This is my extraordinary crew that we are so glad to be here today with you. And this is my daughter Sarah.
Hello.
Can you go? And let's get
I'm
to.
sorry, I can't stay very long.
Yes, let's go. Let's get to work.
It's taking me such a long time to do all this.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I can't really.
Even with time so tight, Annie Leibovitz has planned a number of different setups.
Very bad.
Well, maybe. I have an idea. Let's take a couple frames with it on, then we'll take it off and leave it off for the rest of the shooting. Is that okay?
Well, I'll have to go back and tidy my hair.
And Your Majesty, I'm going to ask you to just look to your left and a little more. I love the Steve Martin picture. I see a portrait of Steve Martin not being like a face shot or something, but Steve Martin is more of a concept than let's say a portrait and then a head shot. So
we sat down in his living room in L.A., and he was looking around his living room, and he had just acquired a Franz Klein painting, and which, of course, I've only seen them in museums. So I looked at the painting, and first I saw Steve as a big black, dot, in the painting. But I said, okay, and we hired a Disney scenic painter to come in and paint him, and then we did it right in his living room. And I love that it has it's set up, but it also has a lot of elements of realism involved in it. It is Steve, it is his living room, it is his painting, and it's his idea, which I think it really shows him.
We have a picture here that is so famous of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and you took this just hours before his death. What happened here at this shoot?
Well, this was actually done for the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. I wanted to photograph them, both of them nude, embracing, and this is not unusual for John and Yoko. They've been photographed they had press conferences from their beds,
right, I remember.
for their career. And at the last minute, Yoko decided that she would take her shirt off and not her pants. So I said, "Well, go ahead, leave your clothes on." And of course, I was disappointed, but it turned out to be a much stronger image. The idea of the embrace, at that time, the fact that they were still in love and they loved each other deeply was important to me, and I wanted to try to tell a story about that. This calendar is so completely different. It's a whole other concept. That's great.
I think that's what women like me have been dreaming of. Annie is shooting this calendar. She's doing something different.
To pay tribute to women at all ages who have accomplished something, it's quite a statement.
Great.
Believe me, I do not think naked girls are going out of fashion. But it's interesting that people are interested in different ways of looking at women.
Every single day we photographed, I was more empowered, with every photograph we took.
I felt I looked more beautiful than I've ever felt in my life, and I felt like it looked like me.
You've been there through thick and thin.